Oh my.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Thrilled to have everybody here on this virtual Zoom. Obviously, we wish we were doing this in person up in Petaluma at Adobe Road Winery, but here we are. Thank you for joining us. My name is Gialanella. I'm the group publisher for Modern Luxury Media and Angeleno magazine. And I'm thrilled and pleased to be joining you guys today for this amazing opportunity. So due to large audience, we're going to keep all guests muted until the end. We have time for a Q&A and open it up for everyone to ask questions. So I'll tell you a little bit about Modern Luxury. So at Modern Luxury, community and connection define who we are. Reaching an audience of more than 16 million, we're the nation's largest luxury media company, offering leading brands access to the most affluent audiences in the most prominent cities across the US. As you know, we're teaming up with Adobe Road Winery to have some fun and support a good cause and share backgrounds that are full of cars and camaraderie. So let's kick this off with some fast cars and fine wine. Wow. If that doesn't get you excited about the next hour, I'm not sure what else will. Let's begin by raising a glass of whatever wine you happen to have handy at the moment. And let's wave to a few of our selected guests. Cheers, everybody. So, beginning with our overall host, Kevin Buckler, founder and CEO of the Racers Group and Adobe Road Winery. The Racers Group is the single most successful privateer team in North American sports car history with over 100 victories in the multiple professional classes. Kevin is also racing royalty himself, having won the 24 Hours of Le Mans and the 24 Hours of Daytona 4 times. Say hi, Kevin.
Hi, guys. Hey, everybody. Awesome group. Awesome group. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks. Joining Kevin is Adobe Road Winery's winemaker, Garrett Martin. Garrett has crafted more than 90-point-plus wines in the past few years than I could even count. Say hello, Garrett.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be here. Cheers.
And I'm so pleased to introduce one of my newest friends next. While most of you may recognize her as a legendary entertainer, musician, actress, and former Miss America, and of course, one of our very own Modern Luxury cover stars for Hamptons magazine. We also like to refer to Vanessa Williams as one of our favorite car enthusiasts. Hello, Vanessa.
Hey, everyone. Have a good night.
Thrilled to have you. And lastly, a great friend of mine and a true connector across all passions, Deb Pollack, the founder of Drive Toward a Cure, a car gal with a philanthropic heart that supports finding a cure for Parkinson's disease through the goodness of those with the affinity for cars.
Hi guys, thanks for coming.
Quickly, before we head into our wines and tastings, we've got one more big announcement to make. Hey Matt, can you roll the next video for us? As we rev our engines and pour our wines, keep in mind that behind the tasting scenes tonight, we've got an auction going on for 2 great items. An awesome interactive experience for 2 at the Porsche Experience Center here in LA, complete with an on-track personal driving coach, lunch in the award-winning 917 restaurant, and an additional simulator experience. This amazing item is valued at $1,950, and we're starting the bid as low as $500. And for those that prefer to bring their Porsche fantasies home, we've got a one-of-a-kind framed ink gesture sketch depicting the famous, here's the sketch, everyone take a look at it right now, depicting the famous Porsche 550 number 34 at the Goodwood 9 Hours in 1955 by award-winning author and artist Dwight Knowlton. This item is valued at $450 and the bidding starts at only $100. So throughout the entire program, you can bid on one or both items through our private chat at the bottom of your screen. Send your bid to auction in the chat room, referencing art for the sketch and car for the experience. And we'll be announcing updates throughout the hour. All proceeds will go directly to Drive Toward a Cure. Any questions, you could ask those in the auction chat as well. And of course, feel free to make any donation or pledges for Drive Toward a Cure within the same auction chat area as well. And now, without any more interruptions, let's drink. The first wine we are drinking is Red Line. Let me bring my wife Andrea up. Let's get the red line out and we're gonna do a cheers.
Chris, we always do a little chink with everybody. Everybody put your glasses up to the screen, if you would, right up front there, and we'll do a nice little ka-chink for the group. 3, 2, 1. Cheers, guys.
Kevin, take it away. Tell us about the wine and the racing series.
You got it, Chris. Thanks a lot. Thanks, everybody. Great group. Really happy to be here. Deb, Mike, Vanessa, everybody, thanks for joining us. Putting all this together is so much fun for us, sharing our 2 passions. Yes, indeed, we started the racing program 27 years ago. We're still alive. It's really good because this business is tough. And we'll be able to tell you more about the racing stuff all the way through. Adobe Road started also about 17 years ago. And then we started with our other passion. Both the facility you see over my right shoulder is our new winery that we are building right now during the middle of the downtown Petaluma resurgence. It's really awesome. We have a great group of partners. We have some of them on the phone with us tonight. So it's a huge passion of mine to be able to put a stake in the ground in some place. And we did something truly epic here, and that Petaluma is just vibrant. Things are cranking. And while we're doing that, we're creating this new series of wines called the Racing Series. I'm actually in a race shop, so they're working over here in the cars, guys. Excuse me for that. Racing series, passion, love, all the stuff that we did. You know, a lot of people go out and they craft a story and a brand around, you know, something that they have to fabricate or make up. And that's typically what happens in the wine world. In our world, we had a story. We figured, let's play into that story. But most importantly, Garrett and I are really into our wine. We worked very, very hard on these blends. Everything about them was, we wanted them to be the best. And I mean that sincerely. I have a good palate and a good cellar, and I travel, but I don't have any enology skills. Garrett's the winemaker. He's awesome. And the two of us just kind of, you know, yin and yang. To me, honestly, like almost like an epic sort of a player, driver, owner, coach type thing. You know, you'd see in any type of sport or entertainment or anything where it just works. And it's working for us really, really well. The first wine tonight is called Red Line. We have 4 wines here. This one's pretty cool because we had worked on a Cabernet-based blend. I'll let Garrett talk about the specifics, but we had a lot of fun with the labels, as you guys have seen, right around our passion, around our stuff. And this has got the first interactive movable tack. When you turn the bottle, it turns into the red line. You'll have one there, hopefully. And Garrett, I'll let you take it away and come back to me because I just opened it a minute ago. I Coravin in this one. It smells so delicious. And I mean, this wine's just, my word for this is scrumptious. I love it.
That's great, Kevin. Yeah, no, thank you, and glad to be here. And just so all of you guys know, number one, my background is not virtual. This is a real cellar that I'm here in. These barrels are full of 25 cases of wine each. I got a whole rows of barrels here, and that's exactly where this wine comes from. We handcraft each one of these wines. And just like Kevin was saying, the red line, you pour it into the glass and it's just meant to be delicious, scrumptious. Just right away, you're just taken in by the aroma, and it just invites you to take that sip. As Kevin was saying, 65% of the blend here, a majority of it, is Cabernet Sauvignon. And we like the Cabernet because as a base for this particular wine, because it helps frame out those dark, roasted cherry sort of aromatics and flavors. The tannins and the structure of the wine of Cabernet is really good to build a base around. And then what we do is we take that base of Cabernet with the structure and the frame, and then we add some things to it to improve, enhance, and just create the story that we want to tell with the wine. So to that Cabernet, we add 15% Syrah in this particular vintage. And the Syrah is just like, it's like reduced blueberries. It's just roasted blueberries on like a barbecue almost. It's an incredibly dark, meaty, but fruity Syrah. To that, we add Zinfandel. California is famous for Zinfandel. It's our home grape here. And so adding it in is just an easy choice because it's got such luscious flavors of like cooked strawberries, of like strawberry compote. And it's very soft and sort of plays on that frame of the Cabernet Sauvignon that we have as the 65%. To that, we added just a little bit, 6% Petite Syrah. And the Petite Syrah is super dark and inky. It's like it's one of the blackest wines you'll ever see. You can't hardly see through it at all. It's got some really big chewy tannins, but they're not aggressive. They just help lengthen the finish. So when you taste the wine and you get all those great flavors, and then that finish just extends all the way through to the back of your palate, that's really, you're hearing the Petite Syrah talking there. And then you'll notice if you're looking at your bottle and you look at the back of the bottle where we have the blend sort of composition written out, our last varietal that we added is Malbec, and it's just 1%. And a lot of people look at that and they say, like, 1%, like, what is that? And it really makes a huge difference. This is why we talk a lot about how we intentionally craft these wines. They're just really put together with lots of precision. Malbec for us has a lot of violet aromatics and dark purple sort of look and taste to it too. And it doesn't have a huge tannic structure, but what it does have is those really gorgeous floral aromatics that in 1% of this blend really make the whole thing pop. It's pretty amazing. So that's red line there for you. If you guys have it in your glass, I would just love to cheers you again. Cheers, guys. Thanks.
Cheers. Ching ching.
Cheers.
I'm going to go back just for a second on it too, because, and I'll hand it back to you, Chris. One of the things right there, because we worked so hard on this, and when I look behind us and I see our old 66 winning car, and I got the cars in the shop here, it's all been about teamwork and in anything we do, and we've been successful at, and I'm really big on saying that up front. I mean, I was a guy that started it, but we couldn't have done these amazing things without just an epic group of people behind us and with us the whole way through, just like here. I know we have another special guest on with us tonight. Lynn St. James is on, my dear friend and Cindy's friend, everybody's friend. One of the most influential people, I think, in motorsports that are pushing always female initiatives, which is awesome. And I'm a chick power. I got three daughters, a wife, a female dog, and that, it's hard in my house, I'll tell you right now. So, but Lynn's great. She can probably tell us on it tonight, but it's great to have her on. And she's doing a big event in Amelia Island here in a few weeks, or I guess it's 2021. She's doing the big Amelia Island. But yeah, I just want to say the teamwork thing, really big for me. Garrett, nice job and everything. And guys, thanks again. Please enjoy this wine. This is our passion.
All about the team. Oh, and hey, Kevin, just real quick before we go on to the next thing, your background is awesome, but I don't think people really understand that you're in a race car shop. I don't know if you could just show a quick view of just like some of the cars or something on the lift, but that would be great.
I'll do something really fast. You got a few minutes. Chris, we good?
We are good. We are good. Speaking of women, for those of you who have yet to meet Deb Pollack, she's been an executive in the luxury automotive sector for some time, a true car gal, drives her own C4 convertible and replica speedster, and has a big heart for charity. Hey, Deb.
Hey, Chris, thanks. Thanks so much. I want to thank all of you. I especially want to thank Kevin and Deborah for being so hospitable and opening up the doors to Drive Toward a Cure to have this great event today. And I want to thank Modern Luxury. Without the hospitality of both Kevin and Modern Luxury, I don't think we would have been able to say that we've got more than 130 actually registrants on today. So thank you all for that. I want to thank Cindy Sisson, who is a marketer and connector extraordinaire and a dear friend. She is our gal pal, and Lynn St. James will also attest to that. And we couldn't have put this all together without Cindy. So thank you for that, dear. And then also, we've got a few other people to thank here. Included in our group, we've got a lot of folks that care about wine, racing, cars, and of course the community. We've got Porsche Club folks from all over the nation that have joined us. We've got my friends from Drive Toward a Cure, the people that have been kind enough to support us on so many of our rallies, and that's appreciated. And I also want to really thank the folks from the Porsche Experience Center, Jen, who was so kind in contributing the cause for our auction item today, and also Dwight Knowlton, who did the morning sketch that we've got in our auction as well.
Yeah,
and so,
but we're already at $500 on the sketch.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. And so while we're there, here's what I'd love to do. Let's take a little bit of time to downshift for a moment, grab your glass of wine. And I think this 4-minute video that we've got to show you will explain our charity quite better than I can in 4 minutes. So Matt.
Drive Toward a Cure is a nonprofit foundation dedicated to raising much-needed funds and awareness for Parkinson's disease research and patient care, while teaming cars and camaraderie with unique premium lifestyle experiences. Car enthusiasts can enjoy some of the most breathtaking scenery and racetracks in the U.S. while driving all types of cars ranging from vintage to luxury and exotics. Again, all while contributing to Parkinson's disease. Since 2016, Drive Toward a Cure has raised more than $400,000 and operates as a 501c3 nonprofit tax-exempt organization. Founder Deb Pollack was personally affected by Parkinson's disease with the loss of her mother in 2006. As a longtime executive in the automotive industry and a longtime car enthusiast, she realized that by taking advantage of the emotional gratification gained through driving experiences, there was an enormous space within the automotive arena to further her cause for Parkinson's disease. With events ranging from Drive Toward a Cure's annual signature multi-day rallies to unique regional gateway programs in areas from Monterey to the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, all events seek to remain all-inclusive, from logistics and pricing to the camaraderie that ensues. Over the past several years, coast-to-coast events have included drives along scenic byways and skyways in the areas including Yosemite and the Blue Ridge Mountains, and include tours of private car collections and museums, as well as touring laps on famed racetracks. Even car clubs throughout the country have been creating their own one-day drives on behalf of the charity. But driving events aren't the only way Drive Toward a Cure raises funds. When the original 1968 Bullitt Mustang, famed for its featured role with Steve McQueen in the most iconic car chase in history, emerged from hiding to globally celebrate the film's 50th anniversary, the owner of the car, whose own father had been lost to Parkinson's, and through the support of Warner Brothers, Ford Motor Company, and the McQueen Foundation, teamed with Drive Toward a Cure to raise significant funds. A one-on-one hand-painted chronograph containing actual paint chips from the car was created for a global raffle, earning entries from 34 states and 12 countries.
All of those proceeds will go to the Michael J. Fox Foundation in my father's name. So this is one time I'm okay with taking a piece off my car.
The entire winnings, which were then matched by a fan that raised a total of $50,000, with the full net proceeds donated to the Michael J. Fox Foundation in honor of the Kiernan family, who had been the custodians of the Bullitt Mustang throughout the past decades. Approximately 1 million Americans live with Parkinson's disease, with 60,000 people diagnosed yearly. The combined direct and indirect cost of Parkinson's disease is nearly $25 billion, yes, billion dollars a year in the United States alone. Drive Toward a Cure brings the power of cars and camaraderie together to benefit Parkinson's disease research and patient care. In 2018, Drive Toward a Cure established its own California Wildfire Grant Fund to give back to Californians with Parkinson's disease that had been affected by the devastation of the ongoing wildfires. Through the Parkinson's Foundation, Drive Toward a Cure has created an Access to Care program for various regional centers of excellence for Parkinson's at renowned medical centers throughout the country. And most recently, Drive Toward a Cure renamed its funding to include a Special Assistance Fund, a grant-giving program that supports applicants with Parkinson's disease on a nationwide basis following catastrophic events. To learn more about the Drive Toward a Cure and its beneficiaries, the Parkinson's Institute or Michael J. Fox Foundation, please visit drivetowardacure.org.
Wow, Deb, that was amazing. Deb lost her mom to Parkinson's back in 2006. But what a great organization you started. Guys, let's remember to place a bid on these amazing opportunities and simply make a donation. Now, let's try some more wine. Let's get the bottle of Shift out with my wife over here, Andrea. Here's the Shift. How cool is this? It even has a stick shift right here. Who remembers driving a stick shift? I sure do. Anyway, Kevin, tell us about what's inside of this amazing bottle.
Ready to go. Before I do that, Chris, can you tell us how some of the people are asking how they bid on the Parkinson's package? And so Deb or Chris, can you give us just, what does it do? Is it on the chat board or what are we doing?
Yeah.
You want to tell them, Chris? Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you go to auction, you could bid on any of the items. And right now, I know the sketch is actually up to $500. I'll check on the other opportunity at the Experiential Center. I'll find out on that as well.
Is that a link they all got, or what is that, Chris? Go to auction.
Go into the chat room, Kevin.
Gotcha.
And when you're there, you look for auction.
Okay.
And if you want to bid on the sketch, you put art and the price that you'd like to bid. And if you want to bid on the car experience, just write car and put the price that you're bidding.
Perfect. Just wanted to get everyone's questions answered. Before I go, I said you kind of nailed it. It's funny because that little car that we ran the 24 hours in, that little guy was an H pattern. And I know to this day, we always get people make comments and said, you know, winning the 24 is crazy, but you guys won that in a stick shift? We're going, yeah, that was really hard. I'm going to take you on a quick tour because actually it's pretty fun. I'm going to try to make sure you guys don't barf or anything, but the cars are getting prepped for the Sonoma race. You can see them up on the rack there. We have 3 cars here that are getting done. Our Sonoma race is next weekend. And I'll take you up front. There's a bunch of really cool stuff I can show you. Just 30 seconds, because I'm always proud to share. Our Pontiac GTO days were in here, but I'm going to take you to the very front of the race shop and give you, this is our world stashed away here in Petaluma, California. So our offices are here. Some of the really cool equity stuff on the wall. That's our picture of that was the 4th win in 2011. But as I kind of just pan around here, just the days of wishing we had a couple of trophies in the case were a big deal. That Daytona case right there is big for us. We have 13 podiums and 4 wins. And I say we because it was always a big team effort. This one's important. It's always kind of funny. That's myself and Lucas and Timo, my 2 co-drivers from Le Mans. And that's our camera looking out. So if I was up on the podium, if I ever have a bad day, I like to just come out here and look at the picture and go back to my office and tell me quit being a wiener. But the rest of this stuff is a lot of stuff from the team. The guys running with us now. And there's a lot of time and a lot of equity and a lot of work. I mean, to the point of every single one of these events, like how do you run 7 cars at 24 hours at Daytona? Each of these in itself is just like, it's a chapter in my life. And I mean, we feel like a lab rat in a funny little way, but very, very proud of what the team did here. Proud I could share with you guys. Take you off track just for a second, no pun intended. So let's get back into this. You know, I want to get a t-shirt. I've seen them before about save the H pattern because it's important. Everyone does learn how. I taught my kids how to do it. So, all right, shift. we couldn't help ourselves. Garrett and I love blends. We love cool blends. We love fun blends. And sometimes maybe something that wasn't, never really thought about it before. I wanted to do something with Garrett that was Zinfandel based, so fruity. Fruit as in my favorite pizza wine type of blend. But we started playing with some really unusual varietals, also Italian varietals, Barbera, Grenache. Garrett came up with a Carignan. And so what we do, and then it's actually back in there, we'll start for, could be a couple of weeks, could be a couple of months, where we're taking little samples. He's got his beaker and he's got all of his controls, and it's 7% this and 10% that. And once we get kind of drilled down on it, we kind of screw with each other. Like, we'll do it blind, and he'll check me and I'll check him, and we'll, sometimes mess with each other. Like, that's not one of the control samples. I was just messing with you. That's Cabernet. But keeps us on our toes. But yeah, we knew we nailed this when we got it right, and really, really enjoyed it with the packaging side. For anyone that recognizes, that's a mid-60s gated Ferrari shifter. And there was some great, you have it in front of you, some really cool packaging technology, and some time went into this. I'm proud of this baby and the little shifter top. But Garrett, how did you make this? Tell us what's going on.
A lot of teamwork, Kevin, just like you're saying. It's all about the teamwork to put something like this together. And it's teamwork from me and Kevin, crafting, creating, and blending these wines together, but also teamwork on the packaging side, like Kevin was talking about, to come up with this design that's such an innovative design for a label. Takes a lot of teamwork too. To get the shifter knob on top of the bottle. So much teamwork goes into every portion of this, from folks that you're seeing here on the screens tonight to people who are behind the scenes, way far behind the scenes. It's all about teamwork, and that's a great life lesson, but it's also super true with this particular bottle of wine. And then, to talk about shift is to talk about a wine that we've crafted to sort of blow away people's expectations of what a high quality blend can be. Zinfandel is a great place to start, and a lot of people start with Zinfandel, and then they'll blend in things like that are a little bit more well known, like Cabernet or maybe Syrah or something like that people can kind of sink their teeth into. And we said, well, let's shift everybody's expectations of what a wine can be. Let's shift what they think about a blend into something just totally that's never been done before. And I don't know any winery that's done a blend like this, that blends 35% Zinfandel is what's in the bottle right now, with 30% Barbera. It's just it's a unique, it's a almost seemingly strange combination. Zinfandel is this, like I was saying before, it's like cooked down strawberry compote. It's dark and rich and just sort of glides over your palate, and it's a beautiful place to start a blend. Barbera is, it has great Italian heritage, and it's a really interesting wine because it's got a lot of bright tannins to it and a lot of acid to it too. It really makes the fruit just pop out of the compote strawberry of the Zinfandel. And then to that, we add some really, we can't just stop there. We can't just make a blend with two wines. We have to really think about how to create these notes of complexity and these really interesting points for you to latch onto when you smell and you taste. So Grenache, 13% Grenache in this blend gives us sort of like a dried strawberry. It almost shifts the aromatic sort of upward if you think about it sort of spatially. Petite Syrah at 12%. Once again, there's that great use for Petite Syrah because it helps with color, and then it helps lengthen the palate with those great chewy tannins. And then 10% Carignan. Now this is the secret. We just sprinkle in 10% Carignan right there at the end. And the Carignan is a really interesting variety because it's a little bit like wild gamey. It's a little bit meaty and smoky and rich. So all of those things together, coming together in this one package, really sort of blows away most people's expectations of what blends are for a super high quality blend. And all of it with this great packaging. I mean, it's just like I started with, it's all about teamwork, and you can see all the different parts of the team, from the different components of the wine to the different components of the packaging, coming together so perfectly right here.
We have some fun with it, guys. We're working on a little kind of a fun marketing piece, but it's if you hit the little QR code, we're a couple weeks out. We're going to do little 30-second QRs. And on this one, I've got this great sequence of me coming out of the bus stop at Daytona in that freaking vicious Aston V12 and it's going right down the straightaway past the words Daytona into the front stretch, down, all the way through on the shift sound around the corner. And then it's like violent when you do it. And then it just goes to Garrett very stoically standing in the winery saying, and here with shift, we are using these new varietals to shift to a higher level. And it's like, so we're trying to do like a play off each other and have some fun with it, which we have. It's good. So, yeah, thanks, guys. Hey, Chris, one more time. I think we're still having a little few people, Deb, trying to bid that are having some trouble. So if you could explain again, kind of in basic terms, how we're supposed to get in there.
So on the bottom of your screen, if you go to chat, find the auction tab, and that's an auction room, and place your bid there. Right now, we are at $1,000 for the art, and we're at $900 for the experience. So let's keep it going. Oh, now we're at $1,000 for the experience. So
where's the auction tab, though? I'm in the chat right now. So where's the auction tab?
Just write down the amount that you want to donate in there, and we'll take care of it from there. We're also getting a lot of requests for people who want to purchase wine, so we'll tell you exactly how to do that towards the end. So everyone's been impressed with everything here. So thank you guys so much. Hey, so I want to also bring back Deb, who's going to make a very special introduction for us. Deb, take it away.
Hey, thanks, Chris. Right now, I'm so excited to introduce a friend of mine. We've been friends for, gosh, more than a decade. And you guys know her as someone who's an iconic global ambassador of so many things and so many groups. And she's a leader when it comes to the theater, when it comes to her book publishing, when it comes to her fashion designs, and even when it comes to all of her music, of course. And Vanessa Williams, I'm so glad to call a friend, but what the other part that we really share is something about cars. So let's get to it, Vanessa. Let's talk about you and cars. Tell us a little bit about what gets you excited about cars. Oops, we got to unmute her, please. Garrett or Matt, can you unmute her?
Hold on.
We want to hear what she has to say. Come on, V. We're almost there. There you go.
There I am.
There you go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. And Deb is the reason I'm here. We've been friends, and we were neighbors for a while I was, I think I was shooting Desperate Housewives at the time when no, was it Ugly Betty? It was Ugly Betty.
I think it was Ugly Betty. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Both times, actually.
Yeah, so we lived up the road a piece. But Deb, I first met Deb because in 2008, the Maserati Gran Turismo, the GT came out, the coupe, and nobody had it. And Deb is the one that found it for me and delivered it to me. And I still have it in my garage right now in a beautiful Mariano blue with blue calipers. And so we became fast friends, over 12 years ago. And I, of course, I would do anything for her for Drive Toward a Cure. It's an amazing group. And she's asked me to go with her on her racing or all women's racing events, which I have not been able to do yet. But one of these days, I swear to God, I'm gonna be able to race.
We're gonna be there.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, talking about shift, I mean, you're a stick shift gal. Tell us about where you started. I've got a picture of you. Matt, show that picture when she was quite young with her dad in that Mustang. Can you pull that up?
Nice.
A couple of bit of memories there.
There we
go. How cute is that?
Yeah. I think that looks like it's Easter Sunday, and that's our, that was a beautiful metallic blue Mustang convertible that my dad is doing something in the trunk of. But I grew up, I still live in New York, and I grew up obviously with Four Seasons, and all my cars that I grew up with were stick shift because my parents wanted to make sure that we had control of the car with all the hills and the ice and the snow. So I grew up driving a stick. The first, I think my mom took me out when I was about 14, and I learned on a Fiat 128, and then moved up to an Audi 100 LS. And then, of course, when you're 16 back here, you go right to the DMV and get your license. And then when I was in my junior in high school, my dad had gotten a Lancia Beta Coupe in a beautiful, like buttery yellow with a chocolate brown leather interior with an air horn. And that was my school ride. So I was very, very cool driving up to high school in a Lancia Beta Coupe. And that was kind of started off I guess my love affair with Italian sports cars, because I had had two at that point and was obsessed. But of course I was kind of sidetracked when I met my husband, and he had a Porsche 911, which I made him give up when we had our first child, and I'm sure he was not very happy. But where are you going to put a car seat when you only have really two bucket seats in the front? So I made him get a Saab, because it's a very safe car.
But you also had a Saab. You had a Saab before that. We've got a picture of your first car in LA that was a Saab.
Let's see. Yeah, I had a Saab 900 there. That was my first red Saab. That was probably 1986.
Was that one a stick also?
Of course, yes, that was a stick. and yeah, that was my first Saab out when I was living out in LA from 85 to 92. But you know, I just love the control. I love and you know, I've sang at the Talladega 500. I've sang at the Daytona, but being in the pace car is a whole different experience. And not only, you know, singing the anthem at these amazing races, but getting a chance to race was really exciting. I just did Sims Raceway probably about 7 years ago.
You've got a picture of that in your office.
My own picture of me in front of my race car. I don't know if you can see it, but
how cool is that?
Yeah. That's me with my what do you call it? My jumpsuit on in front of my race car, and I have my certificate right there. But it's thrilling. It's fascinating. You know, keeping up with the car, the pace car, and then switching out and gunning it when you're going into your turns. You know, I love horses. I love fast things. I love roller coasters, and cars were always kind of my sweet spot. So people might not know that about me, but you guys all know.
Well, and we've also, you know, you said that you drive stick shift, but you've also got those little paddle shifters. Let's show a picture of her Maserati. I think we've got that.
So I don't think we have the Cambio Corsa. Yeah, so that's the GT.
Yeah.
So I started out with I was married to Rick Fox, and I know a lot of LA Laker fans know him. So he got me my first, my push present from our daughter was one of the Mercedes convertibles. And then he got me the Maserati Cambio Corsa for my 40th birthday. And then after having that, and then the GT came out, I switched out that for the GT, which is phenomenal. And I still have it. I love it. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, and she comes out to a lot of car events too. You know, let's talk about that. We were just together in Atlanta back in last October, and we've got a few photos here of some of the nice cars that she got to play with while she was there.
Yeah.
Next one. Go back. Don't show that yet.
So, so the one on the top right in that beautiful mint green is I think it's a 1935 Bugatti reproduction. Spectacular. Every inch of this car was handmade and amazing. And I think I was the first female to sit behind the wheel of the car. I didn't move it at all, but it was spectacular. Up on the upper left, we have Richard Lincoln, who bought Reggie Jackson's Chevy. And of course, being a native New Yorker, Reggie was one of our legends. So that was amazing, getting a chance to stand next to Reggie's car. And it was just it was on Tyler Perry's compound. And it was really well run, and just an amazing car show. I've been invited to a couple of private garages, which is always a thrill of mine, but you know, seeing the beauty of real collectors is fascinating. And then listening to the stories. I think right next to, we don't have Lena Horne's, Lena Horne, I think she had a Bentley, and she's one of
we had that Bentley there. And that was great because it was really fun because we surprised Vanessa with that car. Vanessa had come to meet us from a concert you were doing. Where were you? You were in Louisville? No,
I was in
Louisiana.
New Orleans. Yeah, Louisiana.
Yeah, and she had just been talking to me when she got there about how she got to sing that wonderful Lena Horne song, Stormy Weather. And I said, wait a minute, close your eyes. You've got to come out here and check out the car that we just got today. And it was Lena Horne's Bentley. And it was an amazing coincidence, but it was so much fun for that to happen.
And I think I sing "Don't Know Why There's a Sun Up in the Sky." I sang it on.
You did.
To everybody that day.
We had some fun, definitely.
Yeah. And also James Brown's his Rolls Royce was there as well.
Yeah, and so were his daughters. So you had some time with them as well. So that was a great day. It was a lot of fun.
And the other thing about
where you driving these days?
Go ahead. Yeah, I was just quickly, I've been able to do a lot of my own stunt driving while I've done movies. And one of my favorite was my first movie I ever did was called Under the Gun, and they gave me an Alfa Romero, and I did all of my own stunt driving. And I got my badge from Stunt Drivers Union saying that I passed all the tests and did all my stuff.
Yeah. So let me just say, I know, Kevin, you're the Porsche guy, and we've got one last picture of Vanessa, which you saw the sneak peek of when she was pregnant there. But, Porsche fan, there you have it.
Awesome. Vanessa, it's so cool. You're always, stuff like this carries forward. There's a lot of people out there pushing for some of the old legacy stuff, moving everything forward and keeping the dream alive. But when we see pictures like this and someone with your pedigree and having to be associated with cars, it makes our heart beat nicely. So anyway, thank you so much. Those awesome pictures.
Well, thank you. And that was the 9/11 that I made him give up. But I actually, 10 years later, while I was doing Kiss the Spider Woman on Broadway, I surprised him and gave him a 911 SC Turbo. Same year, and I found it locally back when we had like the penny savers. A local neighbor was selling their 911, so I redeemed myself and I got him one to replace it.
Feel better now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we'll have a lot more time to talk to Vanessa at the end because we're going to do a Q&A with you to ask questions for wine, questions for anything. So back to Chris now.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Big.
My question for you, Vanessa, is obviously you lived in LA, now you're in New York. How's your driving in the snow, and what are you driving these days?
I always have a Range Rover just because of the 4x4 reliability, and I still have my Maserati. So, and I just I'm getting the new Defender because I just came out. So I'm switching out my Range Rover to the Defender. I think I'm building it now, so it'll come in a couple months.
Great. And also, Vanessa was on the cover of our sister magazine, Hamptons. So I wanted to show a quick shot of that. Matt, could you strike that one up? And Vanessa, what was that experience like being on the cover of Hamptons?
Oh, it was great. I mean, I kind of cheated because we did it here in Westchester, but we had the opening night party in the Hamptons, and it's a wonderful place, especially now. This is the time to be out in the Hamptons in summertime. It's glorious.
That's amazing. Well, thanks again. And a reminder about the bidding and let's get some auctions going. Right now, we're at $2,500 for the Porsche Experience, and the sketch is at $1,000. So please, we got 10 minutes to go. Go down to the auction in the chat room at the bottom of your screen and make your bid. And we've got one final wine. We've got the Apex. So come on up. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. We don't have
24.
I'm sorry, I have it wrong.
Don't take the AR-24. It's our
24.
stuff. All right, you guys ready? Okay, this one probably has the most amount of, pain and suffering, along with some wonderful memories involved. Going to one of these big races and preparing for it can be fantastic and can also be a heartbreak. I mean, you could spend months getting ready and crash in the first turn. We try not to do that. And when we were at our power strength, we were running 5 cars at that race, 125 staff. It was crazy. But something good would always happen and something bad would always happen. And you just it's like a bad bachelor party or something. And you say, I'll never, ever go to Vegas again. And then you're planning this whole thing out for the next year. So just kidding. Oh, wait, there's a lot of people on here. So 24, we did this around a GSM, Grenache Syrah Mourvedre, which is one of my favorite blends. They're also a little challenging. So hence the reason we put it behind this label. This was also in 2003 was the last year they gave out a gold 24, a gold Rolex if you won overall. and no one expected this little GT car behind me to win the race overall. We got an overalls. That was a funny little story some other time, but ended up saying, okay, we're going to make a testament to that. There's a nice little story in the back of it. Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre, of these 4 wines, I'd say it's the one that embraces more of the sort of the feminine palate. It's soft, and it's got great florals and aromatics, and it doesn't really overpower your palate like a Cabernet Franc I would describe as well. I usually have, if I'm doing a Pinot, I give my one little spiel about everybody. Take just a minute, people, everybody, and just try to pay attention, not to me as much, but to the wine. And what I mean is this particular nose, what you're smelling in here, try to put some markers on it, things that you might remember. If I said this wine, you're gonna have to pick it out of a contest in a week and you're gonna win $10,000, you change the way you think about the wine. Like, oh, I smell that lighter fruit. That's not that deep, heavy burnt cherry like on that first wine. Or, oh wow, I taste that smooth little edge. Is that the Grenache? What is that? And so I'll let Garrett kind of go into the details, but I love the fact we normally drink, we kind of slosh it back, we have a social time. But when we get into certain wines, I love asking people. I have my 3 daughters, little joke some of you heard. They're trying to always hit me up at the table at dinner to try to, Dad, can we drink some wine? I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay, I mean, we're talking like 6, 8, and 10. And we are a wine family. It is California. It's like, what's the big deal? But so being a sports guy, I'm sports dad. I went down to the cellar one time after, a week of harassing. I got 3 bottles of wine. I got a Zinfandel, a Pinot, and a Cab. And I put 9 glasses out. And I said, girls, here's the deal. You want to drink some wine? I'm pouring wine in every one of these glasses. You can smell them. You can look at them. You can do whatever you want. Then I'm going to turn you around and mix them up. And if you can come back and identify the varietal, you can drink the wine. And 2 of my 3 girls nailed it. And it was funny because you just change your olfactory. Is so connected. You're walking down the street and you smell a pine cone. You're back in girls' camp or boys' camp like that. It's so connected. But normally we don't think about it that way. So that's all I ask. Sometimes you're drinking some wine, take a little time, remember it, and say, okay, I'll remember that wine in the future. Garrett, tell us what you got, baby.
Sure, man. So we have a Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre style blend. Mourvedre being short for Mourvedre. So if you have the bottle, you can see on the back, so the blend composition. The Grenache leads the way in this one. It's 35%. And just like we talked about in some of the previous blends that involve just tiny little portions of Grenache, at least for me, has a whole lot of like that dried strawberry, dried red fruit sort of characters. And that just really sings in this particular blend. That sort of hits off the palate with this like luscious, bright red fruits with a little bit of like baking spice, like maybe cinnamon and fresh nutmeg sort of like ground in there. Mourvedre is the second one at 33% in this particular blend. And there were some questions in the chat about what vintages we're tasting. Of the red line and the Apex, we're at 2018. From the Shift is 2016, and also this at the 24 is also 2016. So the Mourvedre, it's an unusual variety to taste by itself. But if you did, what you would get is like cracked black pepper and kind of wild game. All of that around like sort of a juicy core of like purpley fruits. And so that makes a really interesting second addition to this wine. And so those two together, the Grenache and the Mourvedre, make up, almost 70% of this blend. To that, we added the Syrah, and the Syrah is pretty exciting in this blend because it's Syrah always hits me with some sort of meaty character, and in its best iterations, it's got like this grilled meat, like tri-tip you just put over the hardwood charcoal, and you take it off the grill, and you smell it. You're like ready to eat, and you're so hungry, and man, you're just it's dinner time for me, so I'm just getting really hungry just talking about this right now. But Syrah always lends this dark meaty quality. Now, we couldn't end there because we couldn't just do a GSM. We can't do that. We had to add another pop of complexity, another little note for you to enjoy in the wine. And that was when we chose to sprinkle 9% Malbec at the end of this. And Malbec, we discussed it in the 1% edition in our red line blend, but here in the 24, 9% Malbec really lifts those floral aromatics. So it's not just the dark red fruits and the spices and the cracked pepper and the meat, but there's this floral that comes lifting through, and that's just really exciting to us. And we hope that you guys feel it's super exciting too. So cheers, the 24.
Cheers.
Cheers, Garrett.
Thanks, fellas. So we're still bidding. We've got 2,500 on the experience and 1,000 on the sketch. So we'll be closing the bidding at 6:15. And Kevin, maybe, I know a lot of people are asking about how to purchase the wine. Want to give everybody a quick rundown on that?
Sure. Yeah, I've got a little thing for tonight since we have such a good group. I'm really inspired here. What we're going to do for anyone who wants to purchase anything, you can go onto our site and the drop downs on there, either adoberoadwines.com or the racing series wines.com. And normally, you know, we're very proud of the fact we're not a discounter. We don't need to, we don't have to, but I do like to do what I'd call a gift or a token or whatever. So tonight we're going to give a 10% token to everybody here on the screen. If anybody wants to buy anything tonight, and that's if they are a wine club member, that stacks. So it's in addition to your wine club membership too. So that's really good for the old school wine club members. It could be as high as 35% that way. And then also we're going to give 10% to Deb's Foundation as well, so we can keep that going. So anybody who buys anything tonight, we'll be doing our best to help the cause out. Worthy causes all the way around. So we got one more wine to go into, and we'll have a little fun with that, Chris, when you're ready.
We do. We've got the 24, which is our final wine of the night. The Apex, I'm sorry. Sorry, everybody. The Apex.
Okay, you ready?
We're ready.
Okay, first off, Garrett, if I was asking you to get, first of all, a lot of people, we have screensavers. I'm not in one, but some have screens. That is not a screensaver. That's a $2 million screensaver behind Garrett, by the way.
Not a virtual background. This is real.
Those are real barrels and they're full. Hey, you know, when we're up there and I'm back with you and I'm saying, Garrett, can I get a little of that 18 Syrah? We can try. And you say, but Kevin, it's up top. Can you show us how it's pretty unusual? When we have to get wines, guys, sometimes, you know, getting the forklift and moving, you know, all those wines and barrels, hours and hours of work. But if you have a very young, spry, fleet-footed winemaker, it helps.
That was part of the job description when you hired me. Yeah. So you see, you know, I have these rows and rows of barrels behind me. You just see that they just sort of go for a long time. And sometimes you just want to pull a couple little samples so we can put these blends together. We pull small little sample bottles out of the barrels. We do our blending maneuvers and stuff like that in the tasting room. But what if I needed to get that barrel right there up at the top, like that? This one, like how does that even happen? So what I do is I go get one of my tools. This is called a thief. It's just basically like a big straw, and you put it inside the barrel. You know, put your finger on top of the straw. It's open at both ends. Put it on there, pull it out, and it's got wine inside of it, and you can put it in the glass. But I mean, how do you even get up there? I'll show you.
Do it. Okay, hold on, Garrett. The workman's comp thing.
What's that?
This is the workman's comp thing where I say if you do fall and you hit just before you hit the ground, right that moment, that's when you're fired. Okay, just so we're clear. We got to cover our. Just kidding.
That's right. So without any further ado, let's get a sample. I'll get you guys a barrel sample. Hold on.
Got it. Barrel samples are awesome. That'll be the next tasting for this group. That would be good after fun. That's awesome.
How do we virtually do that, Garrett?
Now watch.
Run from here all the way up to the top, right to the very top of the stack, and then once you're up here, you just pull the top out of the bung, put your joint finger on the top of the thief, fill it up right there, and you've got yourself a barrel sample. Come on back down. See, I didn't fall this time. And there you go, barrel sample, ready to have.
Hey,
Cheers.
Thanks, Garrett. Something really preemie or that we do. We've only done a couple of these. Did one with Andy Beckstoffer where we actually had 2 of the standard bottles of wine, the 2014 and 15. And then we did the 17, 18, and 19 barrel samples. So what he just did, this is something, Chris, that we could do in the future for anyone else. We love this. Might be a real premier tasting. We would do barrel samples of all of our best stuff. And there's a couple ways to do it. We could either attach it to a bottle that's already been labeled and we could try to taste them. We could send them all barrel samples of 4 or 5 wines, or even better, I like to F with everybody a little bit. We could put barrel samples, just number them 1 through 5. I'm not going to tell you what they are. We're going to blind taste them and see if we can go through them. Give you the 5 wines written. We'll give you 5 numbers, and then you go through them. Be a really fun tasting to do. We love doing that. So anyway, that's what they are. A little Sauv Blanc, and got a little Grenache here too. All right, our big boy. Here it comes. So when we were crafting our premier wine, again, a motorsports themed wine. It's called Apex. And for those of you that drive or driving racing, the Apex for me is the perfect line through the corner. You wouldn't come charging into a corner, screw your brakes on, and then make a right-hand turn and go. You'd take a nice, smooth entrance so you could have a nice, long exit, and you can get on the throttle early as you can. You know, that's what your driver coach should be telling you in your ear on the radios. He's going, no, you early apex or you late apex, the perfect apex of the corners. And on all the racetracks nowadays, they have these little, they're called gators. And so when you run up on them, you know, in the car, it's the unweighted side of the wheels, not the weighted side, but you can hear it. And, you know, I'm driving, and it's kind of a perfect little moment. You know, you got it right, and boom, back on the throttle. For Garrett, I said, Garrett, the only real edict for us is Cabernet based, top of the line. Pick anything you want out of the cellar and make a spectacular red wine. And he did. And it's really funny. You know, you give a chef more than 1 or 2 spices, and of course they're going to make, this is our cab killer, dollar for dollar. We sell this against, you know, $200 bottles of Napa Cab all the time because it's just so darn good. So Garrett, take it away, babe. This was really, really awesome job on your part.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, and we just got some really nice scores and write-ups from Wine Advocate, Robert Parker's Wine Advocate on this one, and we're expecting more good praise for it in the coming months here. So we're really excited about it. Just like what Kevin said, he says, let's grab our best barrels and make a blend. And to me, that's really exciting. You know, that's like telling a chef, like, go out and source the best ingredients to make me the most fabulous meal you can imagine. So, you know, we start with Cabernet, of course. You know, part of it comes from a great place in Dry Creek Valley. Part of it comes from Knights Valley, and it's all Sonoma County based, which is excellent. Sonoma County is a fantastic spot. Some of the warmer areas are fantastic growing regions for Cabernet. And so it gives us that frame to work with, sort of a dusty tannin, dark cherries, you know, smoky, roasty. And then, you know, thinking about sort of traditional high-end Cabernets, a lot of folks will think about Bordeaux. And we have all those varieties. We make, you know, 18 different bottlings every year. We source so many different varieties from so many different places. So I have access to all of that here in the cellar. So, you know, the main Bordeaux varieties, you know, I added a little bit of Cabernet Franc. It's got this peppery earthiness that's really appealing in a high-end Cabernet blend, and a little bit of Petit Verdot too. Just 2% Petit Verdot really adds that inkiness, the darkness, and just sort of a serious amount of structure. And for this wine, it's about having like a pleasing palate right now, but it's also about setting up the wine with some muscles and some frame so that when it just ages super gracefully. And those are sort of 3 of the Bordeaux styled varietals that are in this wine. But because we're in California, because we can write our own rules here in terms of how we blend and what we blend together, we wanted to add, once again, some more interesting little pops of complexity for you guys to enjoy as you smell and you taste the wine. So adding a little bit of Syrah in there at 23%. Once again, there's that grilled, meaty, blueberry sort of essence that's there. And Petite Syrah from Rockpile. It's one of the furthest north AVAs in Sonoma County, super rugged. It's really hard to grow anything up there, but you get these super intense, small clusters of berries that make dark, inky, expressive wines. And so that Petite Syrah lengthens the palate. It's got those dark, chewy tannins to it, adds a lot of really rich color. As you can see, for those of you who have the wine in your glass, this is black, dark, full, and just packed full of great flavor, aroma. The structure's there to age, but it's enjoyable right now. We're so excited about this wine.
Great, Garrett, thank you so much. So I did want to remind everybody, 2 people can experience the Porsche experience. So in case anybody wants to go in together, feel free. We're $2,500 for that. We're $1,250 for the artwork. So keep that in mind. We're closing in about 10 minutes or so, but we do have some Q&A questions. So I will start a Q&A round. The first one is from Dylan Lujano, who is asking, let me find his question, which I saw above. Vanessa, what was your go-to audition song for musical theater? And what is your favorite summer cocktail?
Ooh, the cocktail depends on where I am, where in the world, and what's their drink of choice. I mean, if I'm supposed to be right now starring in City of Angels at the Garrick Theater in the West End, and of course, all the theaters are shut down. So while I would be in London, a G&T, gin and tonic, would have been my summer drink of choice. Depends on where I were. For the musical theater geeks out there, my audition song was one from the musical called Little Me, and it's called The Other Side of the Tracks. On the other side of the tracks, that's where I'm going to be, on the other side of that great divide between fame and fortune and me. Gonna put my shadows behind me, give my inhibitions the axe, and tomorrow morning you'll find me on the other side of the tracks. So that's just the first little bit.
Wow. Yeah, nice.
Good
Nice.
for you. Someone wants to invite you, Vanessa, for a private driving experience to benefit the charity. So someone already wrote that. And someone also asked, TV, movie, or theater projects, what do you have coming up?
Well, I should be on the West End, which I said. I should be actually recording an album, but I've been able to do a few things out of my house since we're all quarantined. I've got my Shure microphone set up. I've been doing a lot of tracks via GarageBand, and I got my Apogee interface. So you just have to kind of make do with what you're given. So I don't know whether I'm going to do the entire album from my piano room, but you know, everything's kind of up in the air. So I wish I could tell you exactly what I'm doing, but I have a children's book that I wrote that has been out called Bubble Kisses, which actually has a song that comes with the book. So that's my latest recording adventure, and hopefully I'll be bringing new music soon.
Oh, that's great. And Deb, Lynn St. James would like to donate her time and appearance to you for one of your future events.
Awesome. Thank you, Lynn. I can't wait to see you, hon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Another question from Diana McBride. Vanessa, since you're a car lover, have you ever been to the Barrett Jackson in Scottsdale?
I have not. I would love to.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah. Yes.
Dean, any more questions? So right now we are at $2,800 for the car experience. So if anyone wants to bid more, let's get going. And I'm looking for more questions. Oh, someone asked, Yika and Gunter Reese, how did you prepare for the movie Dance With Me?
Oh, well, I trained. I mean, I'm a dancer through my training growing up, but ballroom dancing I'd never done. And so I did about, I would say 3 months of training before we even started shooting that film. And that was back in 1997. We shot it. It came out in 1998. And it was fantastic because I had to compete with other people that were competing their entire career. So I don't know how happy they were that I could actually dance at their level in 3 months' time, but hey, I'm very competitive, as you can tell. It was a blast.
So Kevin would like to take some live questions. If anybody would like to ask a question for Kevin or Garrett. Garrett, I noticed somebody wanted to ask if you were up for a bid.
I think my wife would not like that very much.
Well, I'm going to the tent. I told you, Tommy. Kind of see me in the tent. Don't worry,
You're in the movie Eraser.
I think I'll keep him guys.
So if you guys want to, anybody wants to ask him up something.
It was Eraser.
We had a crazy unmute moment there for.
There we go. So Kevin, Eric Quanstrom from San Diego has a question. Notice you guys are sourcing from Beckstoffer. Is that the favorite for Cab?
You know, we it is in terms of you know, a premier. It's a brand. Andy is really smart, and he's, you know, obviously growing some amazing fruit and has some of the sweet spot of property. But for those of you who don't know, Andy Beckstoffer is probably the most powerful guy in the wine world you haven't heard of. In that he owns some of the most expensive premier property in Napa. Very hard to get in, get that. I tried to get the fruit for years, and a good friend of mine that was also a big guy in the wine world, Fred Schrader, kind of gave me a hint and said, you know, Andy's a car guy. And I'm like, he is? I didn't know that. So I called him. I said, Andy, I've been trying to get some fruit fall, but I'm just curious. I'm going down to Daytona this year, and I didn't know if maybe you ever wanted to go to Daytona. And I left him a message, actually. I remember, and he called me back, and he's Virginia, and he says, Kevin, I think I might take you up on that. And we went down to Daytona, and he sat on the pit box with me. We had a good old time, and that was 2008. Got the fruit, never looked back. It was all good. But it is premier. Our Knights Valley cab is really great. We purchased some awesome cab here in Petaluma from our partners, Show Me and Roger, that Garrett's doing something amazing. We're about to debut a Petaluma Gap Cabernet, which is good, and that would be something interesting. It's to each his own a little bit. At the premier level in the different counties, I think it's sort of, what you think, but I think, again, our premier, our most expensive, our biggest package is our Beck Suffer Cab.
Great. And we just heard news from the Porsche Experience Center. We're going to offer 2 drives, 2 simulator lab sessions, and lunch for 2. If the winning bidder has a Porsche, restrictions apply. They'd be happy to swap the experience if we donated so you can drive your personal car on the track. So if you have a Porsche, bid on that. That's an amazing experience.
Yeah, if anybody had any questions, feel free. It's kind of hard to unmute everybody. Put your hand up, or I think there's a function in the chat screen or participants you can put. Yeah, in your participant bar.
Kevin, here's another one for you.
Sure.
What's scary, driving a race car or driving a winery through a pandemic, and what's more fun?
You know what? I'm going to tell you something dead serious for a second. Is if I can tell you, I feel like I've been in 27 years of training for this crazy crap that's coming, because I have a bunch of my dear friends and partners on this call as well, and they know. We have a funny saying in the endurance racing world. It's like going to war, and you prepare for months. You have a perfect plan, and you're ready to go, and you got everybody there, and all the cars show the green flag. But the plan is, once the green flag drops, there's no plan. It's a new plan, and the plan constantly changes. And if you're not ready to adapt and overcome, you're going to lose. You're going to be left behind. And I'm not kidding you, because it's chaos. And I remember the first time that I think we really figured out how to win and do it as a David and Goliath was, we prepared properly. We had everything, but we're up against these monstrous factories. I see all their spare stuff, and I see all their people, and I see all their cars. But still, when you start throwing in curveballs, for instance, we're 20 hours into the race, and it starts to rain, and it's raining hard. And then there's a huge crash on the back stretch, and then there's a yellow flag. But some cars are stuck in the ditch, and if the yellow flag, you got to see, do I come in now? Do I wait till later? Am I going to gain a lap? Am I going to lose a lap? And all that, at that exact moment, us in the factories went like this. It was dead equal. And I'll never forget that moment. It made me think about how when these things happen, it's about pivoting. And we've opened up a new tasting room out on the waterfront side over here, sharing with a restaurant. Garrett and I are constantly pivoting on stuff we're doing with our fruit, but big time in terms of how we're relating to the customers, marketing, these types of events and stuff like that. I think for me, some of the things we're looking at doing right now, even with the, that's the picture of the, talk about a dream almost come true. This is our brand new, $14 million project that we're building in downtown Petaluma, but I'm right in the middle of it yesterday with the architects and the engineers and everything, like 17 people on a call. And I'm like, guys, do you really think we should do that exactly the way you're doing it right now? Because, we are in the middle of a pandemic, and should we push that front face back about 10 feet and open up that banquet room more and really prepare ourselves for this COVID environment? We could be one of the first wineries ever built to this pandemic. And people, the corporate events are locked down right now. Guys from Google and Facebook won't go anywhere. They're not allowed to. But if you built a winery that allowed you to completely socially distance and have an upstairs roof bar and have all these fun things that are different than what we did, we're right in the middle of it. They were so mad, but then they kind of came around and said, you're right. But so we're working on it right now. But it's, I don't know, the answer to the question, probably the pandemic, a little more at risk, but plus I don't really know what the end game is. That little part to me is a little fuzzy. So we try to keep our eyes open on everything.
And Kevin, also, there's 2 more questions for you. 1, are you going to cut your hair? And 2, are you planning on going to Le Mans going forward? Okay, so the cut hair thing, there is one friend of mine on the phone that knows the story, but I'm going to go and I'm just going to let it grow. I had long, blonde, shoulder-length, curly hair, and I hate no one's going to ever get that picture because that'll get me in big trouble. But I'm going to let it go for a while, so see how it goes. I'll keep it trimmed, but it's going to be just like it is. So no, I'm not going to cut it. And secondly, Le Mans is a big incursion, and now it's changed.
It's a lot of factory. If you don't run a commitment of a season with IMSA, International Motorsports Association, or something else that costs $3+ million, you won't get an invitation. You just don't go out and get invited like the old days. I mean, ours was invited after years of trying and then winning Daytona, but probably moving forward, we will not unless something radically changes. My eye is on the prize over here in the wine world right now, and I'm going to stay on that.
That's great. Well, this is the end of our virtual wine tasting. I want to thank everybody from Modern Luxury, Adobe Road. I want to thank you, Drive Toward a Cure, Vanessa Williams. Always a pleasure to see you. And we are going to queue everything up with a final video. So feel free to make a couple last-minute bids on the items. We will announce the winners, and be sure to purchase the wine as well. Thank you all for being here. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you all so much.